Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvarez, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and YouTube channel. I'm super excited because I have a special guest today. His name is Hakeem Bourne McFarlane, and he is a creator, an author, and motivational speaker whose raw truth and relentless tenacity have inspired thousands to stop living on autopilot and start choosing themselves. His message has reached an audience of over 385,000 across platforms, but numbers mean nothing if the people don't transform. He's the mind behind Choose Yourself to Be Chosen and the founder of the Choose Yourself movement, a community built for people who are ready to face their excuses head on, tear down what isn't working, and build an unshakable foundation for the life they actually want. He doesn't just motivate you, he holds a mirror to your habits, expands your comfort zone, and dares you to do the daily work when no one's clapping. He's proof that self-sabotage can become self-mastery when discipline is non-negotiable and your integrity loop is activated. Welcome, Hakeem.
Hey, thank you, Ann. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. We're going to help parents today. And the
Perfect.
first way we're going to help them is we're going to talk about what does choose yourself mean for parents in everyday moments.
Well, I mean, your kids ain't really gonna do what you say. They're gonna do what you do. So are you exemplifying the type of traits and behaviors that you would like to have in your household and for them to grow up and have instilled in their DNA? So for parents, it means understanding your capacity for consumption and self-investment, meaning what type of boundaries do you have to have in your solitude, outside of parenting, outside of work, outside of your obligations? What systems do you have to put in place in that solitude to be able to then be the best parent, to be the best provider of balance, to be the best emotionally aware leader of the household that the kids need nowadays, especially with emotions being, overrun by consumption and screens and fake news and content? What type of natural ability do you want to develop? And it starts with what we do in solitude.
Yeah, it speaks to me because I always say we have to parent from the inside out.
Hmm.
So we have to work on ourselves. And as you say, like we're the role models, right? We're the role
Yeah,
models for our kids. So if we're acting a certain way and we're expecting them to act differently, that's not happening, right?
exactly. They're going to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember when I was little, there's things that I had to reprogram and unlearn from just subconscious programming that I later identified came from parenting and the environment and the people I was around. So,
Yeah. Yeah. They're always picking up messages from us, right?
yeah.
Okay. And if a parent feels triggered or flooded, how can they center themselves like in 90 seconds? Can you walk us through an inner size on air?
Yeah. Yeah. Inner size for the mind. So First things first, it all starts with preventative action, but the systems in the 90 seconds have to do with breath work, controlling your focus, posture, and gratitude. So going in through your nose, 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Box breathing.
Okay.
That'll help you to focus because 4 seconds is just long enough to be a little longer than we're used to. So we start to think about our rhythmic breathing and it brings us to our presence because it's a prolonged breathing pattern. And then
Okay.
focusing on gratitude, the growth, whatever the trigger is. What are you grateful for? What is this teaching you? A trigger is just showing you something that's unhealed within you. It ain't got nothing to do with no one
Yes.
else. So if
Hmm.
you start freaking out, you want to blame somebody, just think about why you're freaking out because there's somebody else can be in the same environment that wouldn't freak out over that.
Hmm.
So why is it triggering you? And then posture, sit up straight. This literally realigns your nervous system. It allows blood flow, opens your lungs, and you've never seen someone crying with good posture.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be negative with good posture. On the flip side, when you hear something exciting or you hear something that's good news, you're just like, oh, or you're excited, you perk up a little bit. So we want to try to simulate that type of environment for yourself. So the breath work, gratitude, and posture are the three main things I would say. But when it comes to preventative action, you have to do these things already. You have to be
Hmm.
doing these already in solitude. So you have a baseline to revert back to. What you do most consistently in solitude becomes the first thing you rely on when you're outside your comfort zone because it's your natural baseline, it's your character. That's why when you see people who freak out under stress, under pressure, or they act a different person when they're excited, or they fall in love and they start turning to a different person in front of other people, because that is just a reaction to the environment. It's not their natural core. And knowing who you are, it allows you to go back to your character that you develop in solitude when you get triggered and when you get outside of your comfort zone.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about solitude because, parents are busy. So are you saying that they need to have some time alone?
Yep. Go to sleep with your kids. Your time alone is not after they go to sleep. Now you want to do wine. Now you want to scroll. Now you want to go to your fridge. Go to
Okay.
sleep. Wake up before your kids. We have
Okay.
in the Choose Yourself community, we meet every Tuesday, but we have a CYC kids meeting monthly where we have parents and kids tap in and talk about the Choose Yourself philosophy in a household and how to fill up your cup and pour from an overflow. We have people doing foundations from 5 years old all the way up through teens. We have our branch leader, Ashley. She's a teacher in the Bronx of special ed fourth graders. She has two kids of her own. She's going through her own weight loss journey. She has a health certification, nutrition specialist, and she harps on this so much for parents that you have to find time before
Yes.
they wake up to be able to center
Hmm.
yourself and get your thoughts together. It usually takes like 30 to 60 minutes for somebody who's, not used to getting up to really start
Yes.
to get the blood flowing in their attention. So, finding small systems in the morning before your kids get up is really the exemplary of filling up your cup and pouring from an
I
overflow.
love that. I love that. I do get up like at 5:30 every morning. I try to, and then I have my time, my centering time, my time of prayer, and that just sets my day off really well. And if I don't have that time, I don't feel like I'm having a good day. Like I feel more rushed, more anxious, you know what I mean? So I think like
Yeah,
that morning time should be sacred.
yeah, it should.
Take that morning time for you, right?
You got to, and I know there's a certain age where you can't. There's up all night, and that's a sacrifice that parents have to make that I'll never understand. I mean, I will understand, but I don't today. But there are times where I have been up all night because of my dream, my passion. There's times where I've been up all night because I had to work an extra bartending shift until 3 and then start working at 5.
Yeah.
There's times where I've had to be neglectful of myself to get through the moment. But
Mhm.
when we, especially if you're a new parent or planning to be a parent, you have to start with the systems as soon as possible.
Right. And maybe you just need to take little moments. Like when you have a baby, it's really hard
Mm,
because they need so much care. But I just say, like, maybe just take, like, when they're napping, take a moment for you, you know, really, really find those little moments of getting centering, right? And feeling good, you know?
yeah.
How do you keep boundaries firm without sliding into control or people pleasing?
Well, I think having grace and understanding in the first place, but that comes from a self-belief that you'll be able to persevere and bounce back to your focus, to the task at hand, which comes from resiliency, which then is built in solitude. So we train ourselves alone to be able to bounce back from whatever life is throwing us, And so if your boundaries they get crossed, we have to have the awareness and accountability to be able to understand, can we be flexible or is this something we can't be flexible in? So there's
Hmm.
chapter 8 in my book. It's
Yeah.
called the boundary bullseye. You could do it right now. You
Okay.
draw a circle on your page, you draw another circle around it, you draw a third circle around it. Now the first one, center, is the core. That's the core. That is what is non-negotiable. Your love, your energy, your time, your moral compass, your self-beliefs, core values. These are things that are super deeply rooted in all of us. And they might change over time depending on, but it won't be a immediate thing to change. So
Okay.
this is what we have to do most of our focus on. The second ring is where those are distributed to. How much love can you give to your kids and your work and your screens and your gambling and your addictions before you run out for yourself? How
Yeah.
much energy do you have to be able to push through a double at work and still be there for your kids and then still be there for your wife and then still be there for yourself? What's your
Hmm.
capacity? So knowing what the boundaries in the middle, and then the second circle would be like family, friends, church, community, and then the outside circle is just stuff you like to do, which for parents you might not be able to get to that. You might
Yeah.
not be able to get to the movies, to your vacations, to times with your friends, to your binge watching TV. You may not. But there are
Right.
some parents who I would say need to work on their parenting if they start with that. If they start from the
Yes.
outside in, they start with their cheap, quick food. They start with their addictions, their gambling and their sex addictions. They start with their spending addictions first, and you're not saving for the future of the family. Those parents are the ones that would have to go reverse. And I think a lot of us are trained to do that in
Yeah.
from childhood in society is to go for the instinct, go for the comfort, go for the convenience, and then become addicted to medication,
Yes.
eventually. So I say start with your core and work out.
Right. But that's also part of that inner work, right? Because you are turning to things that are unhealthy or addictions because of the wound
Hmm.
that you have inside, right? Like
Yeah.
this is part of that healing and understanding. Where does that come from? Why do you have that addiction? What need is it filling? And how can you get that need filled in a healthier way, right? The,
Yeah. I say break
uh,
free.
yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but Gabor Mate, he's a famous um,
Yeah.
speaker on mental health, and he talks about addiction as problem solving. So addiction, people who have addiction are people who have a wound, and their way to fill that wound or to fix it is the addiction part, right? So if you can find out what's that wound, where is it coming from, then you can address it and figure out how to get that need in a healthier way, you know? Like maybe
Yeah.
taking care of yourself instead, right? Maybe honing into feeling good about you, right? Instead of reaching out for that cigarette or that drink or the gambling to fill yourself up, right?
Exactly.
That's the choosing yourself first, right? That's the choosing you.
That's it. That's
That's
it. And
it.
I heard something too where there's certain substances, and this has more to do with drugs, but like cocaine and Adderall are for people who are seeking control. You got alcohol and pills, which are people who are seeking to relax, and then you have weed and mushrooms that are people who are seeking to create. But when you get addicted to those things, it's a wound of a desire to want something. So the addiction comes from the boost in that feeling, whether
Yeah.
however you're consuming it. And so I'm sure it's like that for all vices, screens, nicotine, caffeine. Like you can think of really boil it down to science and what's going on down there.
Okay. And also, can it be used as an escape? You're escaping something
Yeah, of course.
like
I
that.
mean, anytime you
Yeah.
alter your mood.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, okay, so let's address parents who want to work on themselves. Okay. So you mentioned you need some solitude time, right?
Hmm.
And you're saying 30 to 60 minutes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it could be 10 minutes.
Okay. But in that time, what you do with that time is crucial, right? So in that time, we're centering, we're doing breath work, right? We're starting to feel grateful. And then we're focusing on the things that we want, right? Is that basically what you're saying when you're working with people, when you're working with parents, when they're choosing themselves in that solitude time, those three things are mandatory for you to work on?
Well, those three things are for your 90-second reset. For
Okay.
mandatory to work on would be your morning routine and sleep, and then consumption. So those are the three things that we focus on first. What are you consuming? First
Okay.
of all, what are you consuming? Because that's going to drain you. And then
Okay.
how's your nighttime routine? Do you have screens in bed? Are you taking melatonin? Do you have the TV on when you sleep? What's going on? How are you going to sleep? And then when you wake up, what are you doing to activate the conscious control? You want to do one thing for the mind, meditate or read. One thing for the body, stretch, exercise, breath work. One thing for the spirit, prayer, gratitude. Now you can wake up, put some cold water on your face, meditate for 2 minutes, write down two things you're grateful for, do two push-ups. But most people won't even do that because they don't think it's worth it because the gratification is so delayed. We don't understand that that turns into 333. That turns into 444. They want the results right now. Oh, I want a 4 hour morning routine. It gets gradual over time because your nighttime changes when you start to prioritize your morning. And so you have to have
Right.
some time in solitude where you put things in place that you've never done before so that you can persevere through the quitting mind and discomfort because that's the same thing that comes up when you get triggered during the day.
Okay. 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 I love that. I love that. I love that you're dealing with like you're addressing the mind, the spirit, and the body because they're all
Hmm.
connected, right?
Yeah.
So we have to address all three. That's how we choose ourselves, addressing
Yeah.
the mind, spirit, and the body, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's the habits, right, that change our lives. We are our habits, actually,
Yep. You are.
right?
I mean,
We
that's
are
exactly
our
what you are.
habits.
Yep.
I love
And
it.
I
I
say
love it.
the body is a compilation of our choices up until this moment. Don't we you can read a credit report, you can read someone's bank account, you can look at their car and their clothes, and they can look just fine. Oh, what a great life. But if you check out their sleeping patterns, if they had somewhere to measure it, you checked out their blood work, you checked out their gut health, you checked out their physique, their skin condition, you'd be able to see their choices. And so a lot of times we put up a facade, a mask, or we numb from the lack of self-commitment. And that's just what society has us doing now. And we're trying to prevent the kids from doing it, but it starts with us.
Yeah. A lot of it is discipline, right?
Yeah.
To have
That's,
the discipline to choose yourself, to put yourself first, take care of yourself, right? In those three areas, mind, spirit, and body. And it's hard to have the discipline. But I think what you're saying is once you're getting into the habit of it, when you make it a priority, then you don't even think about it anymore. It just becomes part of your life.
yeah. A new addiction. And
New
discipline
addiction.
and discipline is doing what you don't want to do like you love to do it. Mike Tyson said it, but I think discipline is having the ability to understand the difference between doing it and not doing it and then choosing what's best for you.
Yeah.
So having that understanding comes from consuming differently. Why don't you read how bad sugar is for you. Now, when
Mhm,
sugar comes, you look at it different. Why don't you read how
mhm,
bad them chicken nuggets are you keep feeding your kids? Now, when you see it different. You got your dang pudding pops and all that. You're wondering why they can't act up and you're getting triggered. What are
mhm,
you feeding your kids? What are they watching? How often are they on their screens? So when we start to understand what's in our food, water, air, soil, screens, people, toxins everywhere, consumption loop, quick fix, vice, medication, ha ha ha. Let's get all the kids sick, quick, early. Let's get them overweight. Ha. It's working. It's working.
mhm,
But for those of y'all
mhm.
tapped in on this page, I mean, in this podcast, if we start to research more than what's on the news, you research the doctors, the neurologists, the child care specialists, the ones that don't work with the system anymore and have gone off on their own paths, they'll tell you all the deep down secrets if they're not dead. Because when people start exposing them, they just start to disappear off the earth. And so understanding how beneficial the change is. If you want to make a change, you say, okay, what do I want to change? I want to change screens. You look up how bad the screens are. Just look up how bad the EMF and the blue light is. And then you look up how much more would my kid benefit if we didn't have the screens. Now, when you see the screens, you look at it with a different type of evaluation. But if you're just like, oh, well, all the kids have it and all my friends do it, why would I take my kid away from it? All right, fine. Well, you see the average health of adolescents and kids right now.
Young
So
people. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
grow your mind. That's the
yeah,
whole thing. Understand, educate yourself.
yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's do a little recap. Because I just like to do this for parents. Okay, so Hakeem is saying that the 90-second to get over your triggers, we're gonna do breath work, focus, and we're gonna work on gratitude. Okay, am I right?
Yep.
Right?
Breath work, posture, gratitude.
Posture, yes, posture and and working on gratitude, what you're grateful for. And that we have to choose ourselves. So we have to figure out what are we consuming? And is that what we're consuming actually helping us in our lives? And then we have to develop time, solitude to work on ourselves, right? And that is a time like if you're busy parents, you can pick a time, but generally speaking, morning is good. Early in the morning, quiet solitude time to work on that inner part, that inner strength of what you want, how you want to change. It starts from the inside out. Uh, and that's how you choose yourself. And also your habits at nighttime too, like your sleeping, taking care of your mind, your spirit, and your body is going to make a difference in your life. Does that about sum it up, Hakeem? I know you have so much more, but is that like a good summary?
Yeah, yeah. Work on your consumption and then set your foundation with your time management routine.
Okay. Okay, good. Oh, so good. I love your message. All right. Please share with us anything that any way that parents can find you, how they get into this choose yourself movement that you've got. And then if they want to get some more support and just know more about what you're doing.
Yeah, we have a lot of parents actually in the Choose Yourself community, the CYC. We meet every Tuesday, 10 a.m. EST on Zoom. So you can tap in to with me on my page online, Big Dream Hakeem, or the website, chooseyourself.info. Find my book on Amazon, Choose Yourself to Be Chosen, which has all the systems for foundation, boundaries, and the Choose Yourself process. And I also go through a detailed description of each pillar of the process on the Choose Yourself channel, my other podcast.
Wow.
So,
Wow, you got lots of information out there for parents. That's amazing.
yeah, well, the CYC Kids meets December 15th, 7 p.m. Well, that's our last meeting of the year. It's open to the public. It's free, led by our branch leader, Ashley. I'll be there as well. And so we just try to help parents, man, to be able to fill up their cup first.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Hakeem,
Thank you.
for joining us today. Learned so much about you, and I am for your movement.
Thank you. I'm for
You
yours
too.
as well.
Thank you so much. And thank you, parents, for joining today. I hope you got a lot of value from the show and learned a lot. I've learned a lot myself. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. If this show blessed you, changed you, or helped you in any way, I would appreciate a Google review or a review on my podcast. And I would love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Masterful Parenting, so we can get the word out to more parents about relational parenting. Thank you so much, parents, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.